All right, welcome. I'm glad to have you on. I'll be excited to do this all day today. And I'm gonna start off with just like you introduce, say your name.
My name is Elise. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely,
I'm a little anxious, but we're gonna get through this, okay?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So welcome on to the Black Woman Hill Show. We're gonna hop right into it. So, what does healing mean to you?
Hmm. Healing to me is kind of like having the ability to consistently like self-reflect, um, like call yourself out, hold yourself accountable, um, having like that discernment to like know when it's time for change or for growth or shoot to when it's time to heal, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
So
Was
yeah.
there a moment when you realized you were worthy of healing?
Um yes. Because like I used to be like a person that I didn't really see no point in like expressing or deeply explaining certain things just because I'm always like, what's next? Like, what's to do next? Like, I don't like to spend too much time like on something that like, especially like when it's like way heavy on you. I just don't like. I don't like, even though I
No, you
don't
fine.
like I don't. I'm not gonna say I don't like negative stuff, but like I don't like drowsy energy or like down energy. So I have the tendency like to shut it out like when it like consumes me. And I just like get back to whatever I'm doing. But um, I found out at a point in time that it wasn't necessarily best to do that because I found myself just having a overload of a fluctuation of just like emotions that I didn't necessarily work through, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But
So my question is, okay, if someone was watching this, right, and they was like, "Who is Elise?" What would your answer be? Who is Elise?
Elise is ever changing. I'm not really. I'm not gonna say that I'm just like a switch up type of person, but I truly believe like as humans we have to adapt to whatever is like presently in our face. Um shoot, I might need to be something today that I don't need to be tomorrow. So it kind of just ties back into that self-reflecting thing when you know it's time to change or like do something new or cultivate a new habit or just yeah i like I like switching stuff up. Like I don't know, I get bored with the same stuff, and I'm not gonna say people can't rely on me to remain the same because of course everybody has characteristics and aspects that they will hold like all of their life, but I just if I'm not like growing, I don't feel stimulated in life. If that makes
Absolutely,
sense.
absolutely. So, do you surround yourself with people that's growing?
Um, yes and no. Yes, if I feel like my discernment has led me to surround myself around those people, but sometimes my discernment honestly forces me to isolate for growth sometimes. I don't always see it as like a reason to put myself like in the mix or like around other people. Of course, you can gain like advice and knowledge from other people and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, but when it's all about you, like your journey is gonna be about you. So like you're gonna need those times of like isolation and just like not to be around people and let other people's like perspective and stuff like throw yours off for the sake of like your journey. So
How did isolating help you?
um isolating allows me the ability to distinguish the difference between my voice and somebody else's or like somebody like a different like energy or just like spiritual entity. Just having that silence to shut everything out and really be able to hear yourself and like what you got to work through, what you need to do. Because sometimes we be thinking we got to go and ask people for advice, and that's where like we went wrong at. Like,
You can get it
we
from
should have
yourself.
consulted with ourselves. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm big on consulting with myself or with God before I ask anybody about anything, because at the end of the day, like, people can give advice based off of what they would do in a situation, but it's not their situation. So I feel like I myself or God will know best what to do with
For
my
yourself.
journey.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I like that. So, what's a moment in your life when you felt completely unseen or unheard, and how did you overcome it?
I would honestly say most of like my childhood until like I became an adult, because people don't realize like it's like in Black culture for us to kind of be forced to be somebody that we're expected to be when we're brought up in a family or anything like that. And not to say that is wrong, but at the point of becoming an adult, that's when I had the ability to like, well, I want to do this, and I don't really have to consider nobody else right now. So what would I do if I didn't have the worry of somebody else's response of the choice that I made, like hovering over me? So what's crazy is the day that I feel like I stopped doing that, like I had got a face tattoo, and my mom was like, basically like if I got a face tattoo, she was gonna be like so mad at me and all this stuff, and said she was gonna do it XYZ. So like I really had to test her on that, and like even though it may seem like something small, like at that point, that one thing really just like opened my mind up to be able to just do whatever I want without worrying about how somebody will feel about it. And not to say I don't like consider how people will be affected with the choices that I make. However, I spent a bunch of my life, a long time.
What gave you that
Like,
confidence to finally cross that line, or finally be able to be like, you know what, I'm about to do what I choose to do?
Really because I wanted to do something new. I felt complacent, and I felt like I was doing the same stuff over and over again, and I didn't genuinely feel like I would see a different result from doing the same thing, so I knew I had to switch it up.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. If you can go back to speak to your younger self, what's one thing you would tell her during her hardest times? During her hardest moments?
You said one thing? All right.
Or multiple.
One thing that I would tell my younger self. One, I would tell myself that it is that deep. Like, cause like I said, I used to downplay like my emotions and my feelings a lot, just because like I would be worried about how somebody will feel about my expression. Like when I was younger, I used to like express openly and like freely, and then like it became to a point to where like people will be like, I'm too mean or too like straightforward or anything like that. So I tried to consider how I worded things, which really kind of didn't really authentically align with my true self-expression. If I'm finding the right words for somebody else to take, it's not really me. So I would tell myself that it's okay to say what you feel. It's okay to feel that way. You shouldn't feel like you're wrong or you're a bad person for feeling any type of way that you feel, because like we're gonna have feelings, like we're all human and we have a freaking nervous system. So like feelings are never not gonna be there. But I feel like for so long I downplayed my emotions and feelings to the point to where when I became an adult, my anxiety got worse because I didn't necessarily feel like I can trust myself to have the ability to notice when something is truly bothering me.
How did you get to the point where you learned how to notice what bothers you, and how did you learn how to like set that boundary?
One, I'm a crybaby. Anytime anything bothers me, good, bad, happy, sad, whatever, like I'm gonna like tears are gonna come to my eyes, right? So a lot of times like I used to force myself to not let them come out, but I don't care no more. Like, shoot, I would cry right now if I had to.
Yeah.
But yeah. Did I answer that question?
Yeah. You answered
Okay.
So I have a question. So what's a moment in your life where you felt truly broken? How did you find the strength to move forward?
Ooh. So it was about a couple years ago. What's crazy is, bear with me. Yeah. So 2023, I had a stillborn, and like, what's crazy is, like, at the point of me like finding out about what was going on, like at my doctor's appointment, like I couldn't like even like push myself to express about it. Like I just felt like numb. Like I didn't even cry when the lady came and told me that like they didn't hear like no heartbeat like on the ultrasound or anything, and like I just like for it was like maybe a whole week and a half. Like I couldn't even push myself to like feel those feelings, and then at the point that I did, I isolated myself for so long, because like I genuinely felt like that nobody could really truly understand what I was going through momentarily. But I let myself like think that sometimes, but I genuinely do believe that. Why? Because everybody's journey is different, and everybody feel things differently. I shoot.
I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Thank you. I literally was in denial about a lot of the emotions that I felt about it for a long time. Like, I tried to go to a therapist, then like who I initially like had like my first like evaluation with, and I was just like, maybe this is not it. But it literally took me like getting in a car wreck to go get a therapist for like my anxiety, to be able to even open up about like just that past situation. And I'm kind of just now really truly understanding like how deeply it has affected me, because like unintentionally the emotions and the feelings that I have about it has become a part of like my everyday life. But for some reason, like I'm able to mask it or like deal with it like internally, like without like just consulting with anybody. Like I don't know, like like most people go through stuff and like they first initial reaction is to go and talk to somebody about it. That's just not really me. Like,
so you deal with it how you deal with it.
I deal with it how I deal with it. And like some people may believe that I should deal with it a different way, but I consult with God. If God moves me to like deal with it in a different way, then that's what I'm gonna do. But
do you feel like you've processed it like all the way?
yet?
Or do you feel like part of the reason was, not trying to put words in your mouth, did you feel like you was in the disbelief?
I was, because like I didn't know, like I genuinely didn't know, like, so they would like the like at that time, like at that ultrasound, like they was like measuring them, and they was basically saying like he hadn't like he hadn't been growing for like basically 4 weeks, like since the last time I had a doctor appointment. So I'm just like, what the hell went on, like, for me to literally like not feel like, I didn't feel like anything was wrong. Like, swear, kid you not, like the day before, like I even went to the ultrasound, like I literally felt like, oh yeah, like this is my first time feeling a kick and da da da, like to the point where like I got a video on my phone, everything, like, so like I ain't gonna lie, when the doctor like told me that, I thought she was lying, because like you know how the medical industry be like sometimes, like with Black women. So yes, I was very much in denial, like very, very much in denial, to the point to where before I went back to be induced, like I had them like check again and again and again, like make sure, like, cause but I am now to a point to where even though like what transpired is still like touchy to me, but I genuinely believe that everything happens for a reason. Definitely. And as much as I would love to have my son here right now, like I just genuinely feel like that God truly felt like that it wasn't the right time. So
yeah. And
I don't know, like I'm just like to a point to where like I don't want to keep going against like God or like God's will or like what God has like set in stone for me. So like even though like I may not understand it initially, eventually like I'm gonna come around and formulate a new perspective and just try to be optimistic. Cause shoot, yeah, like I said, I'll be sad about it, but then I turn around and I look at like family members that got like babies galore, and I'll be like, oh my God, they're so overwhelmed and stressed out, like, and I don't be wanting, like, it may sound so messed up, like for real, I don't be knowing if I be wanting to thank God for allowing me to truly like get to a level of patience to feel like I'm ready for that, because actually going through that and realizing that I don't genuinely feel like I was like I don't genuinely feel like I was shoot, like I had just really truly started living for myself at that time, and I feel like if things would have happened the way that I thought they were gonna happen, I would have had a kid and I would have never felt like I had none of my years of my life to myself. So I'm kind of like,
what do you feel like was the biggest, just lesson you learned about yourself in that time?
That shoot, not to always be prepared, but like kinda like, and not like to the point to where like what can like potentially happen, but like you're being prepared for anything just because like you have like God by your side, or just like you can do anything because God is present, or just did that make sense?
Yes, I definitely understand what you're saying. I think that's the scary thing about life. Sometimes certain things you just don't expect to happen, and then when it happens, you kind of don't know how to fully take it in.
Mm-hmm.
And it don't be a few weeks later to where it hit you out the blue while you driving or you in the shower or at work.
They're off your whole little equilibrium, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like now, like going through that though, like shoot, I feel like no matter what gets thrown at me, like, hey, what's next? Like for real, what's next?
Well, you're definitely strong. You definitely have some courage for even sharing that. So I commend you on that.
Thanks.
I really think this was good. I think a lot of women that's dealt with the same situation, you know, or a woman that may, God forbid, deal with the situation in the future,
absolutely,
would hear, you know, have you dealt with it so far?
Yeah.
And so I have one more last question for you, or just something. Matter of fact, not even a question. Just I want you to share something with the women that's watching. Just something that you feel that you could share with them that's on your heart. Rather it's a quote, rather it's, you know, something you want them to just take with them after watching this.
Really, to just always stay true to yourself. Like, strengthen your gut, your intuition. Listen to yourself. That's really it. Listen to yourself more than you listen to anything or anybody else. Like, because this is your life. Like, nobody else's. And at the end of the day, when it's time to go, like, you're going to reflect on what you've done for you and also, like, what you've done for others. And, yeah, just make sure that you're happy and everybody and everything else will, like, align if they supposed to.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
I love that. Thank you for coming on. I really
Thanks for having me.
appreciate it.
I really appreciate it.